Hey, Yerushalmi Sotah Daf Nun by the Mishnah. Halacha Yud Gimel. Look at the Mishnah. Mishnah Meson of Eden Rishonim and Eden Rishonim Da'ai Batlo Urim V'Tumim. We'll see what that means exactly, because it lasted a long time through the Eden Rishonim. Mishachav Beis Hamikdash Batlo Hashamir, the famous Shamir creature. B'Noifes Sufin. We'll see what that is in the Gemara. Paskwan Shia Emuna. Shnemen says Shia Hashem Ki Gomer Chasid Ki Pasma Emuna B'nei Adam. There aren't any more reliable people. Sagt die Gemara Mishmeis und Avim Rishon Paskur und Vitum so Shmuel ben Nachman Shem Rabbi Yonasan ze Shmuel v'David. Saying Avim Rishonim, we're talking about Shmuel David because like the Carbonate brings down, the ones before them were called Royim. Okay. Again, what exactly it means if it's a Shmuel David, I'm not sure how that would. Right, I mean, the Pnei Moshe brings down that Mishamesu Pasku Urim V'Turim Milushal Behem. People stopped asking them. I don't know if is that the way we have recorded. I'm not sure. Rabba Bakan B'Shem Rav ze God v'Nasan. It's talking about God and Nasan and Avi, that they were in the times of David or Shlomo, and we know that in their days. We find that they asked on Returim, so therefore must have gone on during their period of time. Rabbi Yirmiyah Shmuel Bar Yitzchak B'Shem Rav Ze Yirmiyah Ubaruch. That's Yirmiyah Ubaruch Ben Neriah, in which, and again according to the Carbonate, that's in the entire length of the Bais Rishon. And that Urim and was around during the Bayis Rishon. Mishemesin v'im achroin. And the reason we call them, I should say, the reason we call them Vim Rishonim, because obviously they were from the latter part, is because they were during the Bayis Rishon. This is like the Carbonator. They were then the Ruach HaKodesh. Avpi came, Mishtam Shnoi Baskol, but they still had a Baskol. Meiser Shishom Shemon Atzadik Baskol, Yotim Beis Kodesh Kadoshim. Shemon Atzadik had a Baskol come from the Kodesh Kadoshim. Vaimeris Nera Gais Golikus. He was a certain evil king. A bottle Xeroisov, and his Xeris are bottle. Meiser Shiatzuna Arim Li Lachim Ban Tuchya. They were young. Yidden went out to fight in Antiochia. V'shomi Yochanan Kagol Baskal Yotza Mibeis Kodesh Hakadoshim. Vaymeres Nitzchu Talia. The young ones have won. He heard a Baskal come out of Kodesh Hakadoshim saying the young ones have won. Da'achu Krav Ben Tuchi. They went to go fight in Antiochia because Ace. So they wrote down what time they heard the Baskal. V'nasnu Bois Man V'kivnu Shabois Hashoisa. They figured out that when they went to compare the records later, it turns out that it was mamish at the time that they had won the battle. Ma'aser Shenichnasu Zakenim Eitzel Beis Gad Yabiri that Biatz the Baskel of Amalahen, so there's a Canaan went to base Gadin Yudichoy, and a Baskel came of Amalahen, Yesh Benech Modem Echad, Rod Ruach HaKodesh. There's somebody's fit for Ruach HaKodesh, Al Shein Ador Kedai. But the door is not fitting for it, and also name Behil Azakin. So everybody looked at the Hil Azakin. Ukshames when Hil Da, Yid Hayoim, they said about him, they said, in Torah have Ani Chasid, he was an Anov, he was a Chasid, a Talmid Shal Ezra. Vishuv Nechnasus came Lali Yavne. One time they were in an attic in Yavne, V'yasa Baskal B'amr Lehen, Yesh B'neichem Echad Royal Ruach HaKodesh, the sun is fitting for Ruach HaKodesh, El Shein Ador, Kedai, V'nos Ne'nei Hem B'Shmuel HaKatan. Everybody looked at Shmuel HaKatan, Lamnek Shmuel HaKatan, Fishu Maktan Atzmai. He always made himself lower. V'yasham Lefi Shema'at HaKatan Mishmuel Harimasi. He was only a little bit less than Shmuel Hanavi. Interesting. Okay, Shemeis, and when he was Nifta, he said about Shmuel HaKatan, I Amrulov have a Anav Chasid Talmid Shel Azakin. He was an Anav, he was a Chasid Talmid of Hil Azakin. Yerushalmi Sotah. And when he was dying, so he said, Amar Shimon of Yishmael Lecharava. Shimon and Yishmael are going to be killed. From the famous Gemalchus. Shakom al Amalaviza. Other people are going to be looted. V'akin sagin yehavim. They're going to be terrible times. V'loshen Aramis Amran. He said all of this in Loshen Aramis. V'yodam Amr. They didn't understand what he said. He said it because he didn't want to cause them pain. Well, I guess the question is why he said it. Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava Hiskinu shiu Imrim have onav chasid elosh nitfrasha. That so Yehuda ben Bava, they said also about him that he was an onav. They were going to say about him that he was an onav and a chasid, but since he was an arugi malchus, didn't have time to give him a proper hesped because you don't drag out hespedim for people killed by the king for fear of the king. Tani Amr Rabbi Yehuda Ma'ativa Shashamir Azed Shamir. What was its purpose? Look, Nemar Birya he
Mm.
Mesheshis Mebreshis. It was a berry that was created in Sheshis Mebreshis. V'kivan sheymaranoisei la'avonim, when they used to, I guess, either show it or put on the stones, hoymispatchos, they would split lefon of kilavachin shel pinkus, like the luach, like the boards of a pinkus, unless they were straight. It made straight cuts. Well, Baiban Shlomo Beis Hailamin, like we know, famous, right, that Shlomo Melech built using the Shamir, built the Beis Hamikdash, Eloi Diksiv, Ba'abayis B'Yinoi, says there, State in Pasuk, Evan Shlomo Masa Nivno, U'Makevis V'Agarzon, Kol Kli Barzel, Loinish Mema Beis, B'Bayis B'Yinoi. Right, so you didn't hear the sound of the hammers and chisels and those, the normal tools that you would use to build, those weren't in the Beis Hamikdash. So how did they do it? They did it with the Shamir. They used to drag them, and what they would do is they would work them, right? They would, I'm sorry, not drag them. And Megaris, they used to chisel them. Adoy diksiv kol eila avon mikors kemidas gazes migoruros b'megira mibayis michutz. So obviously he's arguing that he said it wasn't a shamir; it was made in a normal fashion. And what matma fnim? So Gemara says, "Well, hay miyashiv these two psukim." So Gemara says, "Matma fnim lo yoyisolahen klum." They didn't work inside the makom hamikdash. Elam sakim b'chutz. These were prepared on the outside. Umachnis, when they were ready, they were machnis lifnim and bringing it in the inside. The Rabbi Aimer. Nir and Divri Rabbi Yehuda ba'avnei beis hamikdash. She says a different teretz. Rabbi says that in the avnei beis hamikdash taka they used the shamir. It's referring when it says in the when it says right and by base social when it's talking about the bias, the question is which bias was being built. So he says that, but when well, I guess when Shlomo was building his palace, that's when so there they used regular implements. Vein kol davar says it's more about the shamir. Vein kol davar yochel lameboy afilu nosna gabi evan. Even nothing could withstand it because it would split everything. So even put it on top of a stone or in a metal tube, miyad it used to split and come down. So now how do they store the shamir then? Right? They can't put it anywhere. So they used to wrap it in the shearings of wool, and put it into a lead tube, mole subin shel sa'irim, full of subin of sa'ar. Hadoy diksiv hamavlig shoyd al hamavlig hamavlig shoyd al oz. Knows that a small creature has the ability to destroy a large item, a mountain. Again, I'm not sure how. Why would the shamir not split the wool or the uh, or the lead the tube? Not sure. Okay. V'noifes sufim, what is that? Amar Ablaza, Devash haba b'tzfiyah. It's Devash that comes from this place called Tzfiyah. Actually, it's soilus tzafa. It's soilus fine flour that's safa that floats al gabe nafa on top of the sieve. Lusha b'dvash. It's lusha b'dvash. It's kneaded in dvash v'chema and cream. It was very fatty and very robust. That's Neifes Sufim. Okay, Amar Rabbi Yonason. Once we're talking about this, so Rabbi Yonason Yafas Sifsuf Shechalno, this pre-gru, which is it's the last of the fruits that grows in the tree, so it's very inferior. So the Sifsuf Shechalno Nesenu, which this inferior fruit, was better than Mefankrisin Shechalno Beziknoisenu, than this high quality fruit, whatever that is. Different shatim here that we ate when we were older. The biyamin ishtani alma, because in his days, in his days, the world had changed already for the worse. Amr Baba saw arbel is saw from this of this flour of wheat of chitim that came from arbelis. You can get out of a saw of chitim from arbelis. You get saw soilus, a fine flour, saw kemach. Right, so kibo, which is coarse, so morrison, brand, so subin, right, which is even inferior. Now, the point is, you had so much come out of one saw, you were able to get so much out of it. And today, I feel chad al chad al, you can't even get one for one. That was a saw of arbalist is not even giving you a saw of soilus, let's say. Fine. Pasku Anshe Emuna, Amrav Zeir, what is it? Anshe Emuna is Torah, people who, Anshe Emuna Torah, the people who trust in the Torah, trust in the learning. Kadoch, Chad Rebbe, Havakar Lelachu, there was one Rebbe, there was a certain Rebbe who was teaching his brother, Bitsur, in Sur, Vavin Savchim, Pragmatium, and the customers were calling out, come, let's go, sell us some items. Vavah, when they say, listen to Mevatla, Ansi, I'm not being mevatel my time, honestly, my time of learning. In Chamil Meisi, if I'm meant to make money, Meisi, it'll come, but I'm not going to mevatel my learning. I swear. Musa. Halachi dazak tel gemishnu. Rabbi Shimon Elohim Mishum Yeshua Miyom Shechar Beis Hamikdash and Yom She'ein Bei Klolas. No day it does not have a klola. V'lo yor tal levracha. And tal doesn't come levracha anymore. V'nitel tam peris. The fruits don't have taste. Rabbi Yossi Amaf nitel shuman peris. Even the fats of the peris don't exist. Mishnah Gimel. Reb Shimon ben Elazar, Tahara, once there was Pascha, the Tahara from Yisrael, Natla, we'll see that later, Natla Sareyach, or Satamas Sareyach. So the fruits don't taste, don't have a nice scent like they used to have. A Maisros, once the Mvatal Maisros, Natla is Shuman Digan. So they want the fat of Digan. Has Nus, Shof, and Kilos Galeh, Nus and Shof, that destroyed everything. Ksiv. So where do we get this from? That there's klolus every day. Ve'el zom b'chayim. Kodesh Baruch Hu gets angry every day, right? Ma'aseh Bilam. Amar Reb Zeir Rishon Rishon Scam. So the way it works is each one is there. So if there was a kloli yesterday, that remains, and then on top of that, you have the kloli from today, etc. Me mevatel. So how's the world last? The world should be destroyed by now with all these klolas. So Rabbi Shem Ravacha bichas koyahane mevateles. The schus brichskam, that's what is mevatel. I guess maybe partially these gzeres, because if they're here every day, I guess not fully mevatel. And that's how the world can last. I'll bring you proof that even the tal is cursed, the dew is cursed. We used to be here that a lot of dew had a lot of peris. If you have a lot of tal, peris muatim, because the peris get ruined, so you have much less. You see that there's called every day. Berishona haya tal yord al kash val tevim vehein melvein. It used to be the tal would come down on the kash tevim melveinim, and they would turn white. They would improve. In other words, avalachshav yord al tevim akash ve'imashchirin. They get ruined. Once there was Pascha Tahara Yisrael, in other words, we don't have Tahara to the level, to the standards of that they used to have, so there's no Matam and Reich anymore, in general, I guess. Maisrois, once there was Pascha Maisrois, Natla Shuman Degan, the Gan, how do you say Degan, the grain, the wheat, that family of stuff. It doesn't have the proper fat anymore. When me nito Yosef, well, he said it's taking the Paris, and he says taking the Gan. So who suffered more, right? Who was right? Who was affected more by this? We have a pasuk mi Yosem bo. It says in pasuk mi Yosem bo el aremas esrim v'hoisa asar. We got to a pile that should have been 20, and that was only 10, so it was cut in half. Bo la yekev, right, which is a fruit. Lachsev chamishim pura, v'haisa only instead, unfortunately, esrim. So we see from over that the peiros suffered more, because we see the arema of the chitim, I guess, or the gan, was started as 20, and when it was cut by half. But when it got to the yekev started off as 50, and instead it was only 20, so it's less than half was left. So Zok Gemara voice esem v'chamishen ksiv kan, which is the ratio of the arema, right? The arema schitim, I guess. Ela v'hoisa esrim, it was 20. So Mashma says that lost out more. V'chomerim has nus v'akshofim, like we saw in the Mishnah, kilo asakayil. That the Chama said that mamish destroyed everything.